coaches on the sidelines, using the helmet's quarterback communicator, which we do during practice, but it's just different in a game. It's different in a game environment. I think it'll be fun for the fans that show up to the game to get a chance to cheer them on and cheer the whole group on, and it'll be a fun moment for all of us. Trey will play the same. Yep.
So 12-play, 75-yard drive for touchdowns, maybe not ideal in your
I don't want to put it out there exactly what it's going to look like. That's all I'll say.
Would you pull him mid-drive? Is that even something you've ever done? Or
All options are on the table.
So there's no set number. There's no set number.
There is a set number in my mind. Yeah.
Zach, was any part of this, Joe lobbying to play on Sunday? Did that have the fact that he was sitting
No, we just want to do what's best for the Bengals, and so that's the decision we made.
What was his reaction when you told him?
He's known this isn't new information for Joe, so he's known this for a while.
How long has this been planned?
I probably told him a couple weeks ago that this was an option, and he probably knew more recently that it was a reality.
Any update on
Not yet. No, I don't yet, but probably in the very near future. Not yet. Not today, but in the very near future, but not yet.
How pleased were you to see Jamar kind of have the bounce back performance on
Yeah, again, Jamar, in terms of the details and making progress in that way, his arrow has been up. I think he's getting used to the play speed at this level. A lot of the nuances of the offense, it's really slowing down for him. And again, now it's just putting it all together. So pleased with the day he had yesterday. We had a great day in the red zone. He was a big part of that. We're going to keep feeding him the rock and letting him continue to progress, and I'm excited about what his potential is.
talk about checking the box? How about the default at the other day? I mean, how important was seeing that in 11 on 11 to get you that momentum, that aspect too?
It's good. That's again, it's not a concern for us. We feel like it's going to progress that way, but it is good to make it happen in practice against that first team defense, and that's never a bad thing. But I feel very confident with the direction we're headed down the field with a lot of these guys.
The thing about that was it looked like you made a concerted effort to step up in the pocket. I wonder how you feel like you looked in the pocket.
Yeah. I think Joe has looked really good in the pocket. He knows a big part of that play is you got to buy some time. It is a sound protection. It is an 8-man protection, but at the same time, it takes a while to get down the field on that particular play that you guys saw. And so he did a nice job pushing up and making a great throw. And T that was a great route by T. Really being at the landmark he needed to be, and going up and really making a play and somewhat traffic there. He had to pull through contact.
Are there any limitations, Sonny, as far as don't spray well out of the pocket, or can you not play that way?
I can be as smart as I can possibly be with the play calls and limit what will be options for him.
Other than the brace, does he look the same at this point?
I hate to speak for the players, but to my eye, he looks like he's moving very well. It looks very comfortable. So again, the brace is different, but that's about it.
I think Burrow only had 1 day off for camp. Was that a pleasant surprise that he was progressing as well as he did and didn't need more rehab days?
Well, yes, but it's also on us. Like that's still coming. We're not done with that. We want to be smart. Just because he's looking great and feeling great doesn't mean that we can't do our part to manage him. And so again, we got 3 days in a row of practice here. So don't be surprised if he gets pulled back, and that's coaching decision. Just making sure we're fresh for next week, and then next week we're fresh for the game week, because everything is progressing very well, and we just want to make sure we're smart about it.
Aside from him getting through the game healthy and back, what else do you want to see from Joe and the offense?
He's not going to have the ability to show us too much, but again, it's just more for the unit as a whole. They have not gotten a chance in a preseason game to go out there with us. They're in the huddle. They can talk amongst themselves, kind of get into the routine a little bit. You got Riley Reef, new guy. We need him to be out there with a group. Trey Hopkins coming off the ACL, Joe coming off the ACL. It'll just be good for them to look each other in the huddle for the limited snaps that they get, and continue to form that camaraderie that they've already generated. And that's really all it comes down to.
Who's going to start at guard alongside
Quentin and Xavier will start this weekend at guard.
Do you anticipate those guys playing longer than Joe, or would
I anticipate that group being a very limited snaps together, and then a new group coming in there.
It's mostly going to be about, for most of the game, is going to be about seeing the back of the roster for you. Are you treating it that way for the most part outside of
Yes.
that?
Yes, correct. The defensive starters will not play. They will suit up in the first, but they will not play. So again, you're going to get a good look at a lot of guys. It's, the depth becomes thin all of a sudden when you pull out essentially 22 guys off the roster. We're already down to 80. So those guys are going to get plenty of work. There should be no complaints there.
Coach, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. The veteran guys, are they going to go as long as you go? Or
Yes. Yes, same. Yep.
Are there any positions that you feel having more depth at
That can be a tricky question. Yes, I don't want to get into that really before the final cuts, but sometimes it depends on the year. Sometimes it depends on what's at the top of that depth chart, maybe. And guys coming off of injuries. Okay, you got question marks on guys. How healthy are they going in the season? So there's a lot that plays into it. And again, that'll sometimes that factors in at final cuts.
But from a coaching standpoint, the decision to go with Joe, you're kind of like, damned if you will and damned if you don't. I mean, no matter what you do, somebody's going to have something to say about it.
Yeah, I don't really care what people have to say about it, but it's what I think is best for the group, the unit, and the team, is to let those guys get out there and be a part of the huddle.
How much during the preseason and this week do you talk with the opposing coach at all about what their plan is? Like almost like you would with a joint practice to try to have a better feel for what the game's going to feel like. Do you do that for Patton?
Yep.
Do you do that with Flores?
Not yet, but I think every week we've, in some form or fashion, communicated just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Doesn't always happen, doesn't have to happen, but it can happen.
Have you spoken with them at all since last year's kind of dust up?
Yeah. Brian and I, there's respect there. Obviously, what happens on the field a lot of times happens on the field, but Brian's a good guy. I got a lot of respect for him. He's done a great job. He and I have kind of got to know each other more just through us becoming head coaches at the same time. Again, he's done a great job, and we've got a lot of mutual people, me working down there, that are still close with him, and they do a good job down there. So I saw him at Florida's Pro Day. It was probably the last time I saw him. We were both down there for that. But, yeah, I got a lot of respect for Brian.
What if Xavier and Children showed you over the past couple of weeks to earn that win out of this game?
Well, it's just the approach we're taking for this game, and those younger guys. Deontay's been out recently. In Jackson, we want to continue to get a lot of reps too. Mike Jordan needs a lot of reps as well. So it's more just let's let those guys continue to get the reps. Oftentimes with Quentin and Xavier, we want to take care of them anyway just because they're years in the league, to try to monitor their reps in practice and games. And so it all just factors into the decision to play certain guys a certain amount of time in this third game. Again, it's not just us, it's every team in the league, but you do feel prepared's the word I hesitate to use, but more thorough during training camp of what you're able to install, work through, situations you got to hit, to where you feel like, all right, we've got it all in, we've gotten a lot of reps on it. Now you get a chance to really go back through it these last 2 weeks before week one. So yes, I do feel, comfortable is a tough word for me, but you feel like you're in a better place. And I'm sure all the other 31 teams in the league feel the same way. It's the way it's meant to be. You're meant to have a full training camp for these reasons. You're meant to play these games to be able to see how guys do in the limelight, the spotlight. So it's good. We feel like we're in a good place right now. Our players have responded well. We feel like we're in a really good spot here, going into preseason game 3.
What do you like most about working with Brian?
We think a lot, and we think the same. And what I mean by that is, I can disappear for a couple hours doing head coach things, and he really just keeps things smooth and on track. And by the time I get back, it's not a different thought process of what I would have followed myself. And that's just from our interactions over 3 years. That's from our interactions of 10 years of phone calls before that, because we never worked together before that, working summer camps together and talking ball and talking scheme and why did Peyton Manning do this? I remember texting him that all the time in 2014 and 2013. And he's not afraid to tell me what he thinks if I'm screwed up in some way or we should be doing things differently, which you have to have in this profession. It can't just be people telling you you're doing a great job, everything you do is great. You need people that can balance that for you. Brian absolutely does that. Maybe that comes from being a son of a coach and understanding that. Maybe it's just his person, whatever it is. He's just got the right tone about him to where he makes sure we're always doing things the right way. And he helps balance things when I'm not around and doing head coach things and Frank doing the run game. He does a great job of meshing that all as well and making sure the communication's great. And so I could probably talk for hours about the value that Brian has to our team because it is tremendous. And I think the players see that, how smart he is. He's been around some of the most successful offenses in the history of football, and he's seen some of the all-time greats do it. And so he knows what the standard should be and what it should look like. And when he communicates that to the group, it always hits the nail on the head because he's been there, done that. It's where we want to be, and he does an outstanding job for us.
A lot of times in the preseason, head coaches will have other people do play calls or whatever. Is that something you would do Sunday? Or?
No, you know what? No, not this year. And that's just because, again, we're getting some guys back for the game, and I want to be the one calling the plays in there. Frank Pollock, Justin Hill, new guys on offense. I want them to get a third opportunity to hear exactly how I'm going to communicate and how I call it in the game to make sure that's ironed out. Yes, in the future and in years past, absolutely. You'd like to give other guys the opportunity, mainly Brian, to just get that because they put in the work. It's fun. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. But it does feel like a great opportunity to get and to give other people. This year just isn't going to work for us.
Where does that show up in the season? Comfort on the headset with the assistants. Where does that show up the most?
If they had called the game, you're saying?
Well, no, I mean you wanting to build that with them in the preseason. Where does that show up in the season? I'm asking a terrible question.
Okay, it can go two directions here. I just want to clarify.
How much does you building the chemistry with Frank, with Justin, show up in the regular season?
Substitutions for Justin. Okay, guys you want in certain situations. For Frank, just the dialogue and the run game, the protections over the course of a drive between series. We're a very honest group. We're going to go to each other after a series in the preseason, after a game in the preseason. Hey, great job here, but let's do it this way this time. And that's give and take on both of us. Him being able to ask questions on, okay, you did it like this. Why? Is that how you always do it? It's just good to kind of work through all that stuff. And it's been really good. It's been productive. There's been no issues. It's just I want to make sure that they hear how I communicate because it gets very tense during games, believe it or not. And I just want to make sure they hear how it's always going to be.
What's your headset personality? Do you know? What have you been told?
You kind of need to listen to like a recording of what you say during the game because sometimes you forget what was said. I don't know. Maybe a question for somebody else. Yeah. No. I'm saying that would be the ultimate reality show, but no, I don't. We don't have that ability. Nor would I want to do it.
I mean, is it different with Frank? Because he's both one game coordinator. Is there any difference there now?
No, it's very similar. You always want the input from the guys who are just looking at the box, looking at it from their view, looking at the pictures. There's you get that with Brian overall and in the pass game. Myself just managing the game overall and calling the plays, and then you got the offensive line coach like Frank who certainly got his input. I want the input. It's no different.
Just back to Burrow this season. I know you've got a lot of friends around the league that have been important. They, I'm just wondering, you talk to them about it too, about how to handle it.
No, I mean certainly this has been a 9-month conversation. It's not just a 2-week ago conversation. So again, we've just thought through every situation to make sure we're in the best situation now, and this is the decision we came to for Game 3.
I think immediately after the injury, a lot of people, maybe a lot of us thought, no way he plays in the preseason. Were you ever at that mindset?
I tried to stay away from those thoughts until, probably when the players came back and you get a chance to see where they're at. You can hope at that time. You don't really know. And again, it's gone as well as we could have hoped up to this point. And so we'll just keep making progress, keep being smart from here to the beginning of the season.
2 preseason games, you've given up 1 sack.
Yeah.
I think that was playing with the ball in the past.
Correct.
Preseason, was that a significant stat or result?
It's a good start. I do think the protection has improved. These guys have done a really nice job. We haven't been overly aggressive with how we've called these games early on. Sometimes you're going to hit big plays when you do that. Sometimes you're going to take sacks when you do that because you're going to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. But I have been pleased with the protection. These quarterbacks have been very clean. They've gotten the ball out on time. We haven't had guys holding the ball, and the protection's held up and done a nice job. So, again, there's always room for improvement, but I have been satisfied through 2 weeks.
Will Brandon still play a lot of half, do you figure?
Yeah, we'll balance that. I can't give you the exact answer yet, but would like to see him play in the first half. We'll talk about if he goes in the second half or not. We haven't made that decision yet.
One more question.
How big of a role is Noah Spence competing for?
He's competing for that, the depth there at defensive end. I think there's a lot of guys in the mix there, and he's explosive. He's only been here a short time, but he's got a good personality. He's done a good job competing, and again, we got 3 big days here of practice for guys like that, and a game coming up. So it'll be good to see how he handles all that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.